Let's see. Bruh. Alright, what's up with y'all? Alright, so I got some little thoughts I want to gather. Alright, so so I was thinking, like I was sitting in the position, right? And the whole time, someone told me to check the degrees on my phone. So when I saw the degrees on my phone, they go with drunk. I saw the degrees on my phone, they go with drunk. But I saw the degrees on my phone, right? And it said 144 degrees, right? So something told me to put in 144 degrees east and 0 north, just because I ain't have no other thing. But I was peeping the 369 and like how it repeats in 9 years. So like in between them 9 years, it happens in 3 years. So that three first year with the second, that's the six with after the three, and then you get the third, and then you hit 0. That's the okay, it's balanced now. Then it repeats, right? So it's like boom, it's like the resting stage, and then bloop, and then it repeats. It's not really like the resting stage, but y'all like yeah. So it's like nah, y'all like yeah. So boom. Alright, so boom. Well, I looked up 144 degrees east, 144 degrees east, right, and 0 degrees north. It represents, you put that in a map, right? It's gonna come up and say the Pacific Ocean. Definitely gonna hit Los Angeles. Feel me? 144 still equals 9, right? So that's a pinpoint, right? 72 degrees east, 0 degrees north is the Arabian Sea. And 77 degrees east and 0 degrees north. Mike, don't mark me on this. Just look it up yourself. But no disrespect, just saying it might be the Indian Ocean or it might be the North Atlantic Ocean, closer to Britain. If not, it might be 48 degrees. That's close to Britain. 40, 48 degrees north, 08. I mean, not 48, but yeah, 48. 48, and I would say 96 will also be a degrees. I haven't looked it up yet, but I feel like it will. 48, right? 48, 96. Look up these 40, and like all of them east, and then the rest 0 north, right? So it's gonna be 144, 72, 77, 48, 96, 24, 12, 6, 3. like that's where all the flares gonna hit. Actually, that's not true. Don't, yeah, that's not true. That was just a new thought, but shit, it might be true. It's gonna hit all those pinpoints, but Saw Skull gonna hit more. So it just flips parallels at nighttime. So we see the backside of the sun during the night, and then we see the front side of the sun during the day. Parallel represents the line of symmetry. When we get to that. Alright, so 222, right? I think 222 degrees east and 0 north, right? That represents goddamn Apple Central or Germany near Amsterdam, France, and Italy. 222, right? 2022, right? All you have to do is add the zero. Because really, ooh, my bad. Shit. All you would have to do is add, all you would have to do is, fuck. All you have to do is add a zero inside of that, right? And then 222 equals 6, right? They use 6 for the double, and then 6 is used for carbon. Is used for the mark of the beast, or to know who's the mark. I mean, who's the beast, type shit. And then it's just shit like that. You feel me? But look though, a line of symmetry represents the in between. So 360 restarts, right? Amsterdam, France, Italy, right? It's gonna be one of the places. It's just funny how Apple, like 222 East, my bad, I got distracted for a second. But 222, right? East and 0 North will hit, will pinpoint on one of Apple's, it's called Apple Central, but it deals with the iPhone uh, headquarters. So boom, the 360, right? Alright, so say you got a circle, right? Like time, right? So let's say you put 0, 90, 180, 270, 330. Hold up, I'm tripping. Hold up, I'm tripping. This thing shit keep messing up because, Alright, so let me just say, alright, so 3, 6 is the restart. With 3, 6 adding 0 represents 9. The 3 o'clock makes 90. The 3 o'clock makes 90. The 6 o'clock will be 180, and the 9 will be 270. And the next 3 will be 12 for the transition of the 4 states of matter, solid, liquid, gas, and plasma, which equals the restart. 1 cycle makes a triangle above, 6 makes a triangle below, and 9 makes the 2 triangles in a circle. The 9 spaces, which when you, so let me repeat that. The next 3, alright, so the 3 o'clock makes 90 degrees, or 90 hertz, or let me just say hertz, something like that, because that's dealing with energy. So, alright, so the 3 o'clock will make 90 hertz, the 6 will make 180 hertz, and the 9 will make 270 hertz. The next 3 will make 12 for the transition of the 4 states of matter, solid, liquid, gas, and plasma, which will be the restart. 1 cycle makes, the 369. So 1 cycle makes a triangle above, while the next cycle of 3, which is the 6, makes a triangle below, and the 9 makes the 2 triangles in the circle. The 9 spaces equal the 9 land masses, with 8 plus the Bermuda. The 12 represents the next 3 to the second power for the second level for the 6, meaning the restart is the full rotation around the pi. First cycle for the 4 elements is 90, 180, 270, 360. The second cycle is 450, 540, 330, 720. And the third cycle is 810, 900, 990, and 1080. The fourth, really it happened like how they try to use and oh this shit playing, but how they like the 144, right? Let me repeat it again so I don't seem crazy. The first cycle for the 4 elements is 90, 180, 270, 360. The second is 45, 50, 540, 330, 720. The third is 8, 10, 900, 990, 1080. The fourth is 11, 70, 12, 60, 13, 50, 144. Right? 144, right? When it hits 144, it's gonna hit the Pacific, it's gonna hit the North Atlantic, it's going to hit the Arabian Sea, and it's going to hit the Indian Ocean. Any more from there, maybe. But when you tie it back down, it always, all those numbers came back to the number 9, right? So peep game. 90, 9 plus 0 equals 9. 180, 1 plus 8 equals 9. 270, 2 plus 7 equals 9. 360, 3 plus 6 equals 9. For the second cycle, 4 plus 4 for 450 is 4 plus 5 plus 0 equals 9. For the next, 5 plus 4 plus 0 equals 9. 6 plus 3 plus 0 equals 9. 7 plus 2 plus 0 equals 9. And so on and so on. All of it correlates back to the 9, which correlates back to the 369 energies. So boom. The thing about that, right? The fourth represents the 144,000. representing the 144,000 energies inside of you, the crystals in your brain, and all of that. So when we dealing with DNA activation, that ties down to it. So let's see some. Let's see some. I think we going somewhere. Think we going somewhere. Hold up. Alright, so right, 2021, right, equals the first cycle of the three. Alright, 2022 is like the second. 2023 is like the 360. Alright, so boom. I'm not saying that 369 with that, because the 369 goes with not just one thing, it goes with everything that comes together for to form the energy. So if you didn't catch the first part, then the second part, then the third part, then you need to go back to 3, to 1, to 0, which is the beginning. Like, because it's just, that's how this shit just work. Like, so when you get to the fifth and sixth dimension, that's like 15, 30, 16, 20, 17, 10, 18 hundreds. The six is like 1890, 1980, 2070, and 2060. So it's like being in the past, being in the future, right? That's what them intervals, the years came from. Those are intervals of the years. If you want to talk about the years, let's do it. So from 1994 to 9 years later, 2003. 9 years later, 2012. 9 years later, 2021. That's part of the 369 energies. There's three groups of nine. A nine upside down is still the six. The nine energy is the nine ether energy, and the six is the carbon. Boom. That's why the fifth and the sixth, right? Because the thing, right? They call this shit B1. They call this shit Delta, right? They call this shit Delta because Delta means denote new energy cycle. So the new energy cycle that we were stepping into was the fifth dimension. So it takes 27 years to transition into new dimensions. But it's like it's two new energies now. It's gonna be the fifth and the sixth, right? But you got the gates inside of you to go to higher dimensions, right? So boom, that's like you going to the future and the past because the energy is gonna be here, right? So boom. All right, so um, because the energy is just gonna be here, so you can. So the fifth and the sixth, right? The sixth, the fifth and the sixth period of time, or the fifth and sixth period, fifth and sixth century. Those are just another words for time. So time is measurements of energy cycles because it's measurements of the pyramid and it's measurements of how the earth rotates on its axis. It's just measurements of all the it's measurements of shapes, it's measurements for numbers, is part of the 369. So thing is, say low key 2022 is like year two is like year 222 or year 7 or year 777 or year 17 77, or 1778, 79, or uh shit like that, you feel me? Going back to the common era and going back to the first Sunday being adopted on the Gregorian calendar for the beginning of the year. I mean, for the first Sunday. But look, the first Sunday, right? The first Sunday on the Julian calendar type shit. Or something like that. I think from the Julian to Gregorian. So, boom, adopted the first Sunday. So, look, they adopted the first Sunday. They got people praising the first Sunday on April, right? Praising first Sunday on April. And then the first day of that being said, April Fools is just, you know what I'm saying, April Fools for the first, for New Year's. Because that first Sunday is going to be January, which they go by that time here in the United States. So the first Sunday is going to be 2023. 10 years after 2012 plus 1, you say 13, or no, we'll say 11, 7-11, right? Because 2023 equals 7, 7-11, 7-11. Niggas about to get lit up like a rainbow at 7-11, 7-11. So now that I think about it, it might happen 7-11, 7-11. Then they gonna say some shit blew up or 7-11. Not 7-11. So that still goes back to the 222. But it explains why people are seeing different beings, which is carbonated beings. Because if we go back in the cycle, we're just in the present. That's why I was saying like B117 means energy cycle, right? But we in the present dealing with energy cycles because time ain't real. It's just measurements of these energy cycles. So we're in the present dealing with past and future. Crazy thing about this shit is that the fourth is going to be the Ya. So fourth, the fourth, so if you say fourth century or fourth period of time, it's like you saying fourth or fifth dimension. You feel me? It's like you saying the fourth or fifth dimension. So 1994 was the fourth dimension. You reverse it. 1994 was year 4,991, which was fourth century. You feel me? Fourth century. You look up what the fuck happened then. It matches up to the same shit that's going on right now. These niggas is really playing with us, bruh. And we the neuromelanated ones is the ones who got the gates to open. We can open these gates because it's in us. But the thing is, if you're not rising with this frequency, you're going the opposite way. That's the definition of variant. And then if you took that shit, the definition of variant is going to be the same Knights Templar secret. Because the definition of variant and the Knights Templar secret is the same thing. It's the same thing. Variant means changing one's DNA sequence for positive, negative, or nothing changes during cell division if there's no interference, right? No interference, right? No interference. I rephrased two definitions of variant, put it together, but I didn't take out or delete anything. That's what it is. Medical terms, variant. Delta means denoting new energy cycle. B117 in gematria means energy cycle. So yeah, when they were putting that shit out, that's when it was beginning. And then from there on, there on. So the thing about that shit, it went there on and there on. So the mutations, the mutations is only coming uncontrollably just because of goddamn the animal fetuses. The animal fetuses make it an uncontrollable substance. But the thing is, they're not telling you while the UV is higher in the sun, the UV actually makes states of matter go into a higher frequency. So you having cells, which are atoms, is going to either rise your frequency up, that is the positive definition of variant. If your cells can't move with it, like if your cells are not made to move with the frequency, or if you're going against it, it's going to make you sick because you're not supposed to have them cells in you. That's the negative side, right? Right? Because really, what that shit is, right? It blocks your sodium channels, right? With the ezetimibe, the lipoprotein. Like you're spiking your protein up just so you can block your sodium channels up. The cholesterol is the same thing. How pain pills do the same shit. So, um, while that's happening, like the animal fetuses, those cells, those T cells, right? While your sodium channels is blocked, that T cell can attach to your hydrogen link or your carbon link or one of your links while your antibodies is blocked up because your sodium channels is blocked up. That's like your blood, your plasma, all that shit where your red blood cells at. Your red blood cells is the ones protected. It's just those just your cells. So if your shit's blocked up and it's allowing another animal cell in your shit is reproducing itself with higher UV, right? It's actually helping that embryo from that T cell. It's actually helping that T cell grow because that's how cells grow anyways, from a baby to a goddamn grown man. Feel me? You start as a little sperm. That's a cell, right? Thing is, when the UV hits that cell, it goes through your melanin. It absorbs through your blood and then it hits your cells. Right now, with a higher UV, for the positive effect of it, your cells, one cell is going to times by 3. One cell is going to times by 3. And the negative, one cell is going to erase by 3. Or nothing happens at all. I was saying the Knight Templar Secrets is the same of it because they said either um, they turn into cannibal sodomites or nothing changes at all, right? So really this is like some reptilian as medicine, right? It's all alchemy, but they studied the biology, right? Because the biology is you. So studying nature, they were studying you. And while they killing you, they were studying your cells. So at the same time, they were studying your cells, right? So look, they were studying your cells. Right? But the thing is, they already knew this shit was gonna happen. Thing thing about them, they have to keep you at a low state because when you're at a high state, physically and mentally, you do metaphysical ass shit at a high state because you're a meta human being. So boom. So which brings magnetism, which shines just like the sun. protons, electrons, making antimatter. Facts. So, thing about it, um, thing about it, like I said, this lasts long in the sun. So that was even off a regular 3. So now that it's past a 3, the UV is going to be burning a lot of other races that's not neuromelanated or can't take the sun, period. So the UV is literally at a 6 and a 7 right now, maybe higher. It was 140 some M flares just in goddamn March by itself. So the science of that, right, or why you gotta clean your blood up so your fucking skin don't get heated the fuck up, is you gotta fast. You putting in shit from the ground, and you is pretty much about it. So that should be your new way of eating. Not, I guess, vegan, but that's not really vegan. That's just being natural. So eating natural. Let me just say that. Fuck saying I'm vegan. Just eating natural, because that's nature. So since they fucked up the nature and the chemistry of your nature, they got you eating other shit, which is fucking up your molecular body. I mean your molecular body. I always fuck up saying this. So that's why you have to fast, because it's gonna clean your rivers back up. So that brings more voltage and it brings more of a charge. So boom. The thing is, when the sun hits you at a higher frequency, it can literally kill your cells. Even if you're black, that's the only reason your skin heats up, because your blood is toxic. So when you clean it up, you actually absorb the sun and it actually makes more cell reproduction other than it dying out because your blood toxic. Period. And then as that, the darkness will actually help your melanin repair from the UV. It's like hand in hand with each other. That's why I believe the moon is actually the back side of the sun. Feel me? That's why the same Egyptian shits, even of the sun and the moon, it looks the fucking same. With the crescents and shit. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I know I've seen that shit before. I've seen so many stickers of it before. Like, it's the same thing, right? So, that's the thing. Like, people barely have melanin, and it's gonna bring back past times, forcing them to go underground, or a lot of them gonna get cancer, because anything past a 3 gives other races cancers, all types of shit. They ain't gonna be able to stare at the sun. They're not even gonna be able to stand beside you, carbonated being, because you're gonna be radiating because you absorbed this shit, right? You're gonna, or pretty much almost fully in that bitch. But there's always gonna be in between the fifth and the sixth, because it's just like the solar systems. They all work together. The fifth and the sixth, right? There's two solar systems joining right now, the Nibiru system, and I would say like Canis Major or some shit. It might be something else, but ours, Canis Major, it might be a try, but I feel like Sirius got something to do with it, because Sirius lines up with the sun before it rises. If you catch this, if you can catch Sirius in the morning, and then you can catch two other stars beside it. Now, so which is kind of weird to me, because I had a little dream. I saw four suns. It was four suns they pretty much spinning, like, I guess they join, because that's the only reason they would be spinning like that. And I know Sirius spins like it's two stars put together, and it spins. And I'm starting to think that's what they call a neutron star, right? When it spins, and that's after a supernova. And Sirius is one of the brightest stars, right? Well, it is the brightest star, but it's Sirius A, B, and C. Hmm, 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 hmm. So yeah, it spins together, kind of like a triangle, two circles, or a circle with a triangle in it. Just like how the world is. The world is a triangle and a circle. I just drew this shit. For real, for real. It kind of makes sense. But I'll show it to you guys. So, let's see how this looks. Alright, so, first, I drew a triangle, right? Boom. Then, I drew the circle. Alright, so, well, it was a full circle. One above triangle, one below triangle. This is the line of symmetry set in the parallels, and this is the congruent line for the equator where all points meet right there at the core, which low-key would be another circle. But then with the line of symmetry, like the triangle, right, it was 180 degrees in that circle. Half of a circle, right? Half of this big circle, the circle is 300 degrees, but half of it is 180 degrees. So that 180 triangle within the 180 degrees of the 360, you got two triangles eating 90 degrees. So the other side of the parallel is another 90. It's another 90. All of these, like I said, should be a circle right there. I ain't never seen this before. I'm just free balling. Alright. So just imagine that was a, circle. Really a circle. Let me look at this shit. Alright, so that's the circle. Right? So 4 times 90. 4 times 90, right? 4 times 90 is 360. Right? A sacred geometry, right? Because wasn't these triangles? And what? 9 plus 0 equals 9. 180. 1 plus 8 equals 9. 360. 3 plus 6 equals 9. Boom. So let's go up here. There's 4 pretty much 90 degrees triangles, which you can also say is a square or a rectangle. End of the day, it's just two triangles. I'll tell you what it is in the day. We're gonna get back to this. Alright, so the 9. Alright, so 90 degrees times 4. Let me put that. Cause I did that in reverse. So boom. 90 degrees times 4 equals 360. That equals 9. Right? Which equals x. triangle, right? B. Boom. So boom. I guess that's what that means. I'm just going with it. Alright, so boom. It's all gonna come together. Alright, so boom. 9 plus 4 equals 13, right? So from the 90 degrees, you got the 9. Fuck the 0, because it's just a 9. Okay. And then we got the 4 for the 4 triangle. And the 90 is in the degrees for his 4, but we're going to say 9. Right? So 4 plus 9 equals 13. 1 plus 3 equals 4. 4 represents the 4 elements. The 5 plus U, which comes from the plasma and U, right? Plus all the 4 elements in U too, just like the Earth. But when it hits, it's going to hit all 4 points. You feel me? Like the Pacific, North Atlantic, the Indian Sea, and Arabian, whatever. You feel me? With China, but it's going to end up hitting everybody else because an M flare, right? Say this is the U.S. Well, say this is South America. This whole shit, South America and the U.S. is getting hit. That's how big this should be. So boom, the plasma hits these points, and the plasma from the ground rises. So ground. I'm doing this shit trying to look at the video. It's weird. Ground. Let me just look at this paper real quick. You. Boom. Feet in the ground. Crown up. Crown up. Feet in the ground. 3, 6, 9. Energy. 3, 9. That's why the 6 equals carbon. This 9 is going to be ether. When it gets to the 6, the 5 is between the 3 and the 6, or 6 to the 5. I mean 6 to the 9. Because of 3's. Right? Because of 3's. So saying the 5, right? I was like 2021. Alright. So boom. Hold on. I don't want to say nothing off. Alright, so the 5th, right, represents the 5 elements, right? The 5 elements, which is also in the suns that is above us now in our orbit. So from my dream, I believe there is 4 suns in our above right now. So the tri might actually be Canis Major. I don't know, cause I know in the winter shit it was like Canis Major, Gemini, and the Portuguese or some shit. But that's off. Isn't maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe the Nibirians come from Gemini. I don't know. But no. Alright, so let's say the Nibirian system and our solar system come together, making the Trinity. Sirius stars like lined up with the sun, and whoop whoop whoop, causing the golden age energy. Boom. So the five, right, what represents the four and the five, right? The fourth dimension and the five is pretty much what we in. It's representing the four elements plus you, right? Now that was like 2021 and 2020, the four and the five. So now that we're in the six, right? That's like boom, nigga. But the thing is, the six, you get the nine from the three and the six, right? So after 2023, the energy is going to be here. The carbon energy is going to be here for the carbonated nine ether beings and the carbonated species, right? That's what they're scared of. From the delta energy cycle, which also represents I believe four, but the variant represents four. Four can represent Satan too, in the negative, lower self. But four meaning that's Zeus, right? I wonder is Jupiter the fourth planet? That would make sense. But alright, so four Xenos. Alright, so Z, the Zelta came after the Micron, but it was ahead of time. The Zetia, that's the medicine Zeltia. Above is Zelta, right? So when this constellation pop up, yeah, be on it. Cause Omicron means alien. But when I was breaking down ZRV16, so I heard goddamn, I was watching these little videos, right? Under that shit. And I kept playing with words anyway. So Z, right, is Zayn. It's a real word. It's another word for Ayan. It's just in two different energies. So Zayn, right, is the Z part. That's why they chose those words. It all falls together. So the Ayan, right, meant Omi, right? Which represents the indigenous. Yeah. It represents the indigenous at the end of the day in another way. But we get to that later. So the Z, the four, right? It's the four elements in you. And they're trying to attack the respiratory, the liver, the reproductive, and your pineal. Really all your chakras, but mainly 4 with 7 different variations from 4 shots. The Xeno, alright, so the Zen, they want to give you the shot, right? 4 of them. To fuck with your Zen, your divine connection with nature. They're trying to fuck with your chemistry with nature, with biochemistry, pathology, and biology, which at the end of the day is metaphysics. So the Xeno means gift of Zeus. If you read the story, Zeus and Hera was trying to poison Kronos with an acid. Shit. Zeus and Hera was trying to poison Kronos with an acid. I don't think it worked though, but I didn't get to him. I can't remember. But that's the mythology story for Zeus. But we know who Zeus is. Zeus is Satan. Negative, low, frequent. So boom, the Xeno, right? The gift of Zeus. Omi meant Omi equals An, which is Zayn, because An is a suffix. Z is the prefix. Because Z is an element. Zirconium weapon. I think that's what Z stands for. Zirconium weapon. During the D, delta, which stands for capital D, the Z is for the D. Four times because of plus one more. It's the one more. It's the reset. So to reset your body, they need 4 of them because it's 4 levels. Resetting your body plus 5 plus 1, right? The heart of the planet and the heart of the sun. So the D can actually replace this, the Zer, and now Draconian weapon. It's like, nah, I don't really know, but it makes sense. It is a draconian weapon. Feel me? Like, so, like I said, we're in the 6. Also, Carboniferous, period. Right? Carboniferous, period. It's the age of the reptiles. I mean, the age of the amphibians. Right? It's the age of the amphibians. So, let's talk about Sarko. Sarko. Really? Come on, bro. I can't be on on Google or something. Alright. Sarco meanings. Alright, so let's look up Sarco meanings. Oh, some dickhead shit. Sarco meaning. What the fuck? How's it not working? Let me type it in the group chat like somebody in this chat. Somebody in this chat. Sarco meaning. Alright, sarco is a combining form used like a prefix meaning flesh. Okay, the only reason I said sarco, right? Cause peep game. SARS hyphen co. Two. Two for two shots. Alright, so boom. Alright, so that's probably the Johnson & Johnson because you need two of the Johnson & Johnson, which equals 3 and 4. So, alright, so SARS, right? You take the S out, right? Take the S out. The S makes the mutation plural, right? Because this was the mutations, right? So the S makes the SAR plural. Take that out, right? Because we want to see what it is by itself. You take it out, right? Spell SAR. Take the hyphen out. Now you have sarco. It was a hyphen between that. So boom. Sarco by itself is a prefix. So meaning V, even though like I had said V has its own meaning. Remember, like Greek alphabet? Really all of the letters by itself have its own meaning. So V has its own meaning, right? V2, right? So sarco during the velocity, let's say V stands for velocity and 2 stands for the second power of that V. So boom, that goes back to what I was saying. The 3 is the 1, right? The 3 is the 1, right? That's the first 3 years. That's the 1. The second 2 years, that second 3, that equals up to 6, that's the 2. The third year, that equals up to 9, that's the 3. But the thing is, it happens 3 times. So that's why I said 3 sets of 9, which is 27 years. If you want to say another way, 28 is 2,700 or 27,000 or 27 million. That's why 10 million or 10 years, 10 million, it would take you 10 million light years or something to see it, which will be 10 years, right? To fucking see it, because if it happened really happened 2012, we're just feeling the after effects. So, boom. Alright, so that's what I'm saying. So that's the 1, 2, 3 from the 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 9. So that's the first 9. The second 9, that 3 would be 4. And then that 6 will be 5, right? That 6 will be 5. The 6 will be 5. And then that 9 will be 7. Like I said, 2023, that would be that 7. So if you do it again, right? Yeah, that 9 would be that 7. So you do it one more time, right? That would be if you do it one more time, the 3 will be the 8, and the 2, hold on, the 3 will be the 8, and then the 9 will be the 6, and then the 10, which is really the 10, right? The 10, which is really 0, will equal the balance of the 9s. So now it's going to be 999, right? But at the end of the day, that 6 energy is the same as the 9 lined up, right? It's still lined up that way. So boom, back to Sarko, right? Sarko, right? Sarko, right? So I showed you what the Sarko mean. So the meaning, right? Sarko meaning, right? Alright, Sarko is a combining form used like a prefix meaning flesh. Hold on, let me spark my blunt. Sarko is a combining form used like a meaning flesh. It is often used in medicine and biology. Sarko comes from the Greek sars meaning flesh. Did you know the word sarcasm also comes from a Greek root? I don't even want to go off Google because that's going to make me look again. We got to break it down. So let's get back to it, y'all. Alright, I'm going to just use this for that. Alright, so I took some notes so I can explain this, but sometimes I just rather read it so it can break down to some more other shit. Alright, so boom. Because about free ball, be everywhere. So, SARS-CoV-2, they said it means a severe acute respiratory syndrome called coronavirus. It's a virus that causes respiratory illness in humans. Alright, so SARS-CoV, right? You take the S out. Alright, so the S makes the SARS plural. Take the S out and the hyphen out with the co, and now it's SARS-CoV. Please mind your fucking business because you're fucking with my energy. Really, you're not fucking with my energy. This shit is gonna bounce back. So, like, it's just annoying because I'm not even paying attention and I feel you. Hey, boom. So, Sarko is a combining form used like a prefix meaning flesh, often used in medicine, which is the drugs. It is often used in biology, which is the study of life and nature, and especially pathology. Pathology deals with the psychic, right? Psyche, because your brain deals with your cells, because you control your brains through your nervous system. And pathological blood destruction is what's coming from the lysis, which is the insertion, the stigma of the shot from the lipoproteins called tetraoxidin and the azetobate. Boom. So now that the volume and the voltage and the velocity is changing from the sun, which is changing your state of matter, right? Changing you into a denser being, right? Sarko means mata or mass, right? So boom, like we said, it is a combining form used like a prefix meaning flesh. It is often used in medicine, the vaccine, biology, from nature, and especially pathology because the stigma is a form of lysis, which is pathological blood destruction. The reason people is talking about HIV because when you have pathological blood destruction, you're destroying your red blood cells. When you that when you have destroyed blood cells, because like I said, your sodium channels are blocked, so your antibodies are blocked. So your red blood cells are blocked, so they're dying because they're not functioning properly. They're building up, and now they're turning to lactic acid, which is sarcoma. Sarcoma is, remember, sarco is the prefix for the word, right? So sarcoma is any various malignant tumors composed of neoplastic cells resembling embryonic connective tissues. Do you get what? Let's look this up real quick. Sarcoma. All we gotta do is add an A and an M. Which stands for meta and alpha. The M and the A. Alright. It's like I said, it's pathology, biology, and medicine in the sarco medical term. So boom, we're dealing with science, medicine, and you. Okay, so sarcoma, right? When them red blood cells die, this is part of it, and this is part also of the xenobot. The xenobot by itself is a AI version that replicates cells. That's why they needed the animal T cell to connect with the xenobot, which was in the lipo transfer, which helped that T cell reproduce itself like it was your cell. That's what the fuck that did. It the xenobot helped the T cell reproduce itself like it was your very own, right? And now the bot and cron, like bot and a micron, right? You take the suffix of a micron and the suffix of xenobot, they mean the same thing, which is means scheduling to time, like 5G, like how you would do with your Wi-Fi, scheduling the shit to the time. So sarcoma, right, means any various malignant tumors composed of neoplastic, not neo meaning your neurons, but neoplastic cells, not your neuron cells, but neoplastic cells resembling embryonic connective tissue, resembling meaning copying, right? Like GMOs, right? That's all GMOs been doing to you, the same shit that just did to you. So boom. Also, a malignant tumor originating from the mesodermal tissue such as fat, muscle, or bone, compared to carcinoma, right? So the sarcolactic acid is what I was talking about. When your sodium channels are blocked, when your sodium channels are blocked, when your sodium channels are blocked, the reason you have to fast during the cell subdivision, because this is the same energy from the Bible time. So I'm coming at you like an angel from that. This is the time you have to fast during this subdivision so the variant DNA changes for the positive, because most likely your sodium channels are blocked, right? And the only thing that's going to clear it up is fruits and water. So boom. Alright, so the sarcolactic acid, right, produced by muscle tissue during anaerobic metabolism of glucose, meaning sugars, as the sarcolactic acid liberated in the muscles is not oxygenated, a condition of acidosis is an issue. Okay, that's when it becomes an issue. You're losing cells. Now they're saying you got HIV, herpes, whoopity whoopity whoop. Feel me? Or you got some cancer, some shit like that. So it's imperative that you clean your fucking blood up. I'm not saying go vegan, go natural. All you need is some seasonings, you Gucci. Really, all you need is some vegetables that are natural. Because all that make the seasonings. You feel me, y'all? Naturally, if you was to try it out and then crunch it up, facts. You can make it in all states of matter. Facts. So, sarco, right, is a sarcophagus, a stone coffin, especially bearing sculptures, inscriptions, and displays as monuments in ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome. Let me pause that right there, because that has something to do with granite, limestone, right? They use limestone for that. Granite is a part of limestone. Graphene oxide is what they're putting with the Bill Gates ingredient. They're putting graphene oxide with it, and that shit is in the shot too. 99% the same shit. Alright, so boom. Sarcophagus is a statin coffin, especially bearing sculptures, inscriptions, displays as monuments in ancient Greece and Egypt and Rome, and also the United States. They didn't include, but I'm including the United States. So boom. Not to be confused with the related word sarcophagus, Greek word flesh consuming. Sarcophagus, sarcophagus meaning flesh consuming. Greeks believed there was a kind of stone that thought to consume the flesh of the corpse, so it was used for coffins. It's the same crystal, right? We gonna figure out if it goes back to that V or that Z when I said zirconia, cause I ain't keep going with this. But I know the graphene comes from graphite, and graphite comes from limestone. But the thing, they said sarcophagus as a statin, sarcophagus, sarcophagus as a statin coffin associated with ancient civilization in Egypt, Rome, and Greece. Alright, so boom. I feel like, mm, I'm starting to feel like such for some zombie shit. I guess it is a zombie shit. Cause statues was mummies, right? And if they making that using that same stone, wouldn't that stone just dry you up like a fossil? It's even fossils from back then that's dried up. Even these fossils that's in rocks, you can crack them open and there's a whole cell in that bitch. So that's why you're about to see these new beings popping up, because that's what the fuck been happening. And the UV is higher, is hitting it. They don't even have to goddamn be out the fucking rock. The UV is gonna hit the rock and it's gonna hatch like a motherfucking egg, because crystals give life too. Crystals are cells. When you're dealing with carbon crystals, those are cells. That's why they were able to AI some shit. Alright? It's been going on for centuries. Alright? It's the same. Look, we in the present going through cycles. This technology is better and worse. You feel me? It's all, you feel me? So boom. Not to be confused. Alright, so something I peep. Alright, so let me, so y'all can see it real quick. Hey, y'all see this, right? Boom. Now let me look up this. This is part of leaking, right? Leaking. Right hand of favor. Hmm. Oh, that's Jimmy's. Alright. Let's look at these images. Alright. Leaking people. So it'll be a like it. That's not what I saw earlier. Leaking beans. Let's use that word. Like werewolf. It was a different picture, like Roots Hills or some shit. So lichen. It's a werewolf. The underworld. Hmm. Right. Let's look at pub, right? Pub meaning Greek. Pub meaning Greek. Public house, grog shop, meaning definition of pub. There's a person, place of things, qualities, etc. Selling alcohol. Alcohol deals with the spirits, right? And the leaking, talking about the underworld. Re, re means hey spirits from the, okay. So re means hey. Pub means the selling of alcohol. So the selling of souls. Hmm. And the selling is pretty much giving, okay, of the underworld. Can means canister. Hey, spirits from the underworld can open. So if you break down Republican, you break down Republican by them suffixes, it actually say that. See, I didn't even know that. I tried to say that earlier, but I didn't even know that. That's crazy, right? But let's get back to how leaking ties into Flint. Well, the Flintstone, right? The leaking ties back into the Flintstone, right? The origin of that is the Argentine names, the Chilean names. See, as you see right there. Fred Flintstone. Alright, so boom. Now let's look up Flintstone. Okay, so that is a Flintstone, right? A flint is a sedimentary crystalline form of mineral quartz categorized as variety of terraces that occur in chalk or marly limestone. Chalk and marly limestone. Chalk and marly limestone. I guarantee, hold on, I guarantee this right here, see the chalk? That's in the Bill Gates shit, right? Then the limestone is in the graphene oxide, right? The graphene oxide most likely got both of them shits. So the flint rock, look at that crystal. It's black, right? So let's look up zirconium for the Z. Let's see if we get somewhere. Cause I ain't even looked this shit up yet. But I feel like a zirconium would look like that. Cause I feel like I looked it up a minute ago. Zirconium. Zirconium is a chemical element with the symbol Zr and atomic number 40. There go that 4. The name zirconium is taken from the name mineral zircon. The word is related to Persian zircon, the, the most important source of zirconium. So let's look up zircon, nigga. Zircon is a mineral belonging to the group of nesosilites and a source of metal zirconium. Its chemical name is zirconium silicate, and its corresponding chemical formula is SrSiO. The colors is blue, white, green, yellow, red, pink, purple, gray, brown, and orange. Associated month is December. Tetra, they go that tetra, cause the tetraoxidant, right? They put that shit in that shit too, and that helps it goddamn disconnect you, disconnect your chakras. And once those pinpoints in your body is disconnected, starting from your spleen, to your liberty or reproductive, you really pretty much can't produce no more energy. You just, yeah. So boom. Let's see what this chemical equation is all about. So it's gonna be ZrSi oxygen. Mm. So zirconium silicate, 4 oxygens, silicon, and zirconium. Scalar articles Zr Zro2 Si2 Si100 Zro2 SiO2 Zro2 Zro. He calculated loss of Swift, helium, lithium, barium, nitrogen ions in the L shells of silicon and aluminum, and the N shell of xenon are modeled tightly bond K shells of silicon Al. That's why that glue, yeah. Al2 oxygen. It's kind of like how glue and coke had your goddamn throat inflamed. Same shit. So boom. Describes the L's as zirconium prepared by glycothermal method. Hmm. X. Okay, let's get it. This looks interesting. This was in 2005. Hmm. Around the time when that shit got elected. Hmm. Alright, so boom. Using first principles calculations, we have studied the formation energies, electrons, and holes of affinities, and electronic levels of intrinsic points defect of zircon, the atomic structure of charge interstitials, vacancies, Frenkel pairs, and antisites defects are obtained. The limit high concentration of point defects relevant for the use of this material is clear waste immobilization was studied with I'm bad with the reading, brother. You can still break that word down. So was studied with variable lattice relaxation that can simulate the swelling induced by radiation damage. The limit of low concentration of defects is simulated. You gotta talk to yourself like that when you understand your brain. So boom, with larger cells and fixed lattice parameters using known band offsets values at the interface of zircon with the silicon, we analyzed the foreseeable effects of the defects of the electronic properties of zircon used as gate and metal oxide semiconductor devices. Semiconductor devices. Metal oxide semiconductor devices. That's exactly what they be doing. I thought they was gonna show more of this shit. So, using the principles, calculations, we have studied the formation energies, electrons, and whole affinities. Relevant for use of this material in nuclear waste. The The mobile, alright, was studied with variable lattice relaxations that can stimulate the swelling induced by radiation damage. The limit of low concentration of this effect is stimulated with larger cells and fixed lattice parameters. Using known band offset values at the interface of zircon and silicon, we analyzed the foreseeable effect of the defect of electronic properties of zircon used as gate and metal oxide semiconductor devices. It's something about COVID. COVID-19 has impacted many institutions and organizations around the world, disrupting the process of research. Through this difficult times, apps and physical review editorial office are fully equipped and actively working to support researchers by continuing to carry out. We appreciate your effort committed in helping advance science and allowing us to publish the best physics journal. See, I was thinking the same shit. I just found it on accident. I mean, divine. I'm not gonna say purpose, but divine. I feel like it was some whole other shit going on. Let's see how many links is to that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Anyways. So, let me go on with that. Alright, what's on this one? Charge transfer and electrostatic effect. Okay, bonding and SPS chemical shift and ZR zirconium silicon oxygen times 4 for the 4 elements versus and for chocolates versus SiO2 and ZrO2 charge transfer electrostatic effects. Damn, think we're getting somewhere here. Yes, sir. Uh, yes, sir. Let this message go everywhere. Cause I don't give a fuck about them with no fear. Let me just sit here and make that clear. I'm just waiting for these niggas to disappear. Yeah, just get them gone. They already know what the fuck they've been doing wrong. I'm smoking on this dough, yeah. Sit back and make a song. I don't want your hoe, but she let me just see her gone. It's like, nah. Alright, so boom, the degree of iconic slash covalent characters in oxide has a great influence. Ooh, we is getting somewhere. We are getting somewhere, nigga. Hey, we is getting somewhere with this. So boom, we gonna break that down because the covalent deals with your covalent bonds and your molecular structure. So boom, I got some shit on that because it ties right back to the fuck I'm talking about. So the degree of iconic covalent characters in oxides such as great influence on electronic structures and material properties. A simple phenomenological rule is currently used to predict the evolution of covalence and ionicity in the mix. Oxides compared to parent ones and also widely used to interpret the X-ray photon. Mm. The oxide compared to the parent ones. The parent ones is the original gene. Alright? Compared to the parent ones and is also widely used to interpret the X-rays photoelectron spectroscopy, the XPS. So that's what XPS means, bonding that. It means bonding. They were trying to say the X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy that deals with cytogenetics, with splitting cells. Like the fuck I was saying, it's changing your state of fucking matter, and that's what they know. Reason why they trying to lock your sodium channels up. Reason why you have to fast from now on, because all the food about to be fucked up anyway. It's about to be food shortage. And then if you don't fast, you're gonna be hurt when you ain't got no food. The fasting actually helps you adapt to nature, because you're gonna have to adapt to this frequency, because behind the skin you're a frequency. All your organs are frequencies, and then your DNA is plant wise. So really you just need water and sunlight, my nigga. But other than that, you still gotta fill yourself with minerals and shit, with like from these fruits and vegetables you eat from the ground. Period. That's why I said fuck being vegan, nigga. Eat natural. Feel me? Shit, we was the ones first doing it, so obviously we gonna make that shit good. Y'all niggas just thinking too much. Alright, so boom. So the XPS is the X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy binding energy shift. The binding energy shift. The binding energy shifts of cations in terms of charge transfer. Just think of it like if you had a crystal that actually glue in the dark from a spark. That's what the fuck's about to happen to your fucking body, my nigga. So boom. Alright. We test the validity validity of this simple rule and its application to XPS of mixed oxides with prototypical system. Zircon ZrSiO4 and parent oxide Zr2 and SiO2. The ionic charges to the S, Zr, and the O were extracted from the density functional theory and the local density approximations calculations in the plane wave formalism. In agreement with the prediction of the phenomenological rule, the most iconic cation Zr becomes more iconic in the ZrI04. God damn, you got them talking like a philosopher. Hood scientist in this bitch. Hood scientist, God Soul 94, like and subscribe. Man, well, anyways. Peace to the gods. Anyways, then ZrSiO4, then ZrO2, while the covalence with respect to SiO2, the SBS chemical shift of the IO1S Si2P and the Zr3D F and a half, no, F to the second power photoelectron lines in three oxides were measured, and the respective contributions of the charge transfer and electrostatic effects initial state, as well as the extra atomic relaxation effect final state evaluated. The validity of the phenomenological rule of the mixed oxides used X-ray electron spectroscopy, as well as the opportunity to use the O1 binding energy shifts to derive a scale of covalence and silicates to discuss. Yeah, we gotta see this. See, and then they keep talking about COVID. So, we're on some shit. The ionic charges, the XPS binding energy shift of cations in the terms of charge transfers. The ionic charges on SiZr and O, silicon, zirconium, and oxygen were extracted from the density functional theory in the local density approximation calculations in the plane wave formulas. Alright, fuck. Let's see what the next one about. I thought it was gonna be longer. The interest points defect the volume swelling under irradiation. The effect of high concentration points defect and crystalline ZR. Boom. Alright, so we know for sure that's the crystal that was created. And it makes a charge. Alright, so boom. Forces originated by exposure to radiation have been simulated using first principle density functional calculations. Structural relaxation and vibrational studies were performed for catalog and intrinsic points defects with different charge states and concentrations. The experimental evidence of large anisotropic volume swelling in natural and artificial irradiated samples is used to select the subset of defects that give similar lattice swelling for the concentration study, namely interstitials of O and Si. The anti-site ZR and Si, which is zirconium and silicon, calculated vibrational spectra for the interstitials. Interstitials show additional evidence for the presence of high concentrations, which is delta height, increased increments of some of these defects and irradiated zircon. Molecular understanding of the formation of surface zirconium hydrides upon thermal treatment under hydrogen. So I'm just learning about this shit, but it was kind of interesting because it does go what we was just talking about. So the reaction of SiO in parentheses Zr carbon hydrogen TBU, I can't remember, barium with H2 at 150 degrees Celsius leads to hydride intermediates, which further reacts with the surrounding silosane ligands present at the surface of this support to form mainly two different zirconium hydrides. That's why that shit deals with the glue like a graphene, because of silicone. Alright, alright, y'all see the formulas. along with silicon hydrides, and their structural identities were identified by 1HDQ solid state NMR spectroscopy, as well as studies these two species react with carbon oxide and nitro 2 oxygen to give respectively corresponding formings boom 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 and hydroxide complexes boom 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 X equals 1 or 2 for 3A and 3B, talking about the first energy, the first, like I remember y'all, I said 3 is going to be 1, 2, see the X, right? The X is supposed to be beside the triangle because it's the change in energy, change in movement, change the ions, electron, 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 proton, 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 antimatter, antimatter, antimatter. These structures identified were identified. Boom. So the X, right? The X equals 1. I mean, the 1 equals 3, the 2 equals 6, the 3 equals 9. But then you repeat it again for the second energy of 3. The 4 equals 3. 5 equals 6. And the 9 equals 7. But the 9 equals, when the 9 equals a 7, the 7 equals that 2. And then the 2, 2, 2 equals the 6. But also equals the 9. But X equals 9 in reality. So, boom. Let's see what else they gotta say. The effects of ZR molar ratio synthesis of ZR-based mesopores molecular sieves. Highly ordered ZR-based mesopores molecular sieves were synthesized via surfactant templated method. Surface studies were, yeah. Alright, so I think we good on that. Did you see how we learned today? Cause look what we about to look up. Back on the sarco now. Boom, sarcoma. Right. Damn, we been on this bitch for almost 2 hours. Sarcomere. Right. Sarcomere on here, right? See how they got the hyphens already for the prefixes, suffixes for the syllables. Alright, so boom. It's a structural unit of myofibril and striated muscle consisting of dark band and near half of each adjacent pale band. Sarcomere is the basic contractile unit of muscle fiber. So when it dies out, right, remember, it turns into the sarcolactic acid. And the only thing that kills that type of acid is your fruits and vegetables. And some water. A lot of it. Not no kid sizes. Fuck a kid size. Your kids need to be eating large amounts of fruits. Like, they eating large amounts of chicken. Feel me? Because a kid can eat a whole watermelon by themselves if you let them. It's good for them. Feel me? Alright, so, boom. Sarcomere, right? Another term using sarco, or sarc, that you may have heard is sarcomere. Sarcomere is an anatomical for a part of a certain muscle. Now we know now that sarco means flesh. The second mere means part. So sarcomere means part. So sarcomere means part of flesh. That's facts what I was reading. It's just not showing up here. But this is something else we got to learn because it went back to what we just was looking at. I didn't zoom into that, I don't think, but we when it wasn't zoomed in, you can see that. So boom, I don't know where the fuck we were. I can't go back on it because I'm on a Google tab, so I ain't even about to try. We're just gonna go with it. So a sarcomere, right, means part. Is the smallest functioning unit of striated muscle tissue. It is the wasn't it? It is the repeating unit between the two Z lines. Skeletal muscle are composed of tubular muscle cells called a muscle fiber or myofibers, which are formed during embryonic myogenesis. Embryonic myogenesis. Okay, let's look up that 'cause I don't even know. Embryonic myogenesis involves the stage induction of my myogenetic myogenic regulatory factors and positional cues that dictate cell determination, proliferation, and differentiation into adult muscles, which is your sodium channels. A myoblast is a type of embryonic progenitor cell that differentiates differentiates y'all see that word, to form muscle cells. Skeletal muscle fibers are made of myoblasts fused together. Skeletal muscle fibers are made when myoblasts fuse together, so muscle fibers have multiple nuclei. The fusion of the myoblast is the specific to the skeletal muscle, biceps brachii, not cardiac or smooth muscle. So boom, let's look up myoblasts. Myoblasts are the embryonic precursors of the myocytes, also called muscle cells. Myoblasts differentiate into muscle cells through a process called myogenesis. During myogenesis, the myoblasts fuse into multinucleated nucleated myotubes, which later becomes the muscle fibers. What are myocytes? The muscle cell, also known as myocyte, is the smallest subunit of all muscular tissues and organs throughout the body. It is here in the myocyte where the physiological steps of muscle contraction and patho, they go to pathology, physiology dealing with the psyche of numerous muscular disease that takes place. What are two types of myocytes? There are two types of cells within the heart: the cardiomyocyte and the cardio peacemaker cells. Let's see what that look like. The cardiac muscle, boom. Skeletal muscle, boom. The smooth muscle. So the smooth muscle is the pendle shape, and that look like your intestines. Skeletal, those what those cells look like. Boom. Okay. Hmm. Boom. Main functions: cardiac muscle, unique type striated muscle in the human heart, is composed of single cardiac myocytes because they are responsible for the myogenetic contraction of the whole cardiac muscle. Cardiac myocytes are the most physical and energetic cells in the body. His myogenetic contractions is found in all vertebrates and some invertebrates. In the second, the heart is stimulated by nerve impulses from inside and out. From outside. The binding of the myosin head to the adenosine triphosphate, the ATP, which then pulls the actin filaments to the center of the sarcomere, the mechanical force of contraction. What is responsible for initiating the myogenetic heart contraction? The myogenetic mechanism is how arteries and arterioles reacts to increase or decrease the blood pressure to keep the blood flow constant within the blood vessel. Myogenetic response refers to contraction initiated by the myocyte itself instead of outside occurrence or stimulus such as nerve innervation. The myogenic response appears to be initiated by pressure-induced alteration of vessel wall tension rather than a change in the cell length or pressure. Wall tension is reduced by vessel constriction, providing a negative feedback that limits myogenic vessel constriction. A cardiac contraction is the end result of action potentials and initiated at the sinoatrial node, sinoatrial node by the spontaneous depolarization of the nodal cells to threshold and the subsequent transmission of trigger action potential in different cells of the cardiac conduction pathways to atrial and the ventral muscle. A myogenic heart is the characteristics of vertebrates where continuous rhythmic contractions occur. With a myogenic heart is intrinsic property of the cardiac muscles. Each contraction of the heart muscle regulates the flow of the blood in the form of the pulse rate. Okay, dang, see, that's why I don't like looking at this shit. So sarcomere, right? Sarcomere, right? So back to sarcomere. Another term used in sarc that you may have heard is sarcomere, an anatomical for a part of a certain muscle. Now we know now that sarco means flesh. The second mere means part, so sarcomere means part of flesh. Okay, so another word for sarco, right, is sarco sutures. So sarco sutures is a name of an extinct relative of a crocodile that clocked at 30 feet and nearly 10,000 pounds. The formidable known as the supercroc. It lived 100 million years ago. Africa and South America, still Africa. Survival evolved where the giant reptile is popul- popularity called Sarco. So they called the Sarco sutures straight Sarco, right? And Sarco, okay, so sutures is used to form a genus name of extinct reptiles resembling crocodiles in form. Resembling crocodiles in form. Resembling crocodiles in form. New Latin from ancient Greek. The crocodile god Sobek from English Egyptian Sebek. That's what that shit was on. Niggas at a different frequency. How many years ago? Hmm, that would be 2011. Right there. At the zero between the 11 and the 2 when we reached it. Fourth century shit. Niggas was finding bodies in the waters. This is okay. So Spinosaurus is the largest outland, and while the Sargassous was twice the size, named for the largest modern crocodiles and 10 times as heavy. Sheesh. No, let's look up sutures. Yeah, because the sutures means the resembling of the reptile. Used to form genus names of extinct reptile resembling crocodiles in form. West Africa crocodile, blah, 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 blah. Sutures mean in Greek crocodile. by the crocodiles in the Sahara Desert. Now crocodiles occur in the Sahara Desert. Alabama crocodiles occur in the Arizona Desert. How long do African crocodiles live? 50 to 60 years. Which is 60 years slash 90 years. Slash 900 slash 600. Can alligators survive in desert? See, although alligators are native to southeastern United States, their range doesn't extend to Arizona desert. The reptile-like or reptiles can't be in Arizona heat. And Arizona heat's about to be everywhere. Hmm. No, coal, right? We want to leave this part alone. But coal, right? Coal means cardiac output of carbon monoxide, just like that formula we just saw, because that makes that charge with the zirconium and the silicone, because when they hit the hydrogen and the carbon, it makes that different charge. So the co means compound too, which we just saw, compounds, right? Co is also represent company. So metamorphosis with a crystal is the same as the metamorphosis of anything natural when becoming crystallized, aka crystalline. So them making in a natural sequence with a natural sequence is going to produce a different result other than the natural result it was supposed to be, or maybe nothing changes at all. No fall, no rise, just neutral. Or you're gonna have some problems because you're not. I feel like the nothing at all would still cause problems. You might still be alive, but you might have like diseases or illnesses. Or we graduate with it, gonna graduate. So they put the shit in reverse so they could come from the ground. The thing, starseed, our DNA connects to the ground, the solar system, naturally your cells, and in your nervous system, subconsciously and consciously, spirit and soul, you're in control of the nervous system outside of your body because it's connected to your DNA. It is your DNA. So, say we from Sirius, our DNA is here, and other places, planet pop up to our eyes like stars. Like when you look at these planets, they look like stars, they're just different colors. So it's like they're stars. Feel me? I'm about to hop off this shit. Peace, y'all.